Well, good evening. What a beautiful night to talk about fantasy football. Um, Maybe even more pointedly, talk about how bad some of these teams look. Welcome to the awful 2025 post draft rankings. I'm Ben, of course. You know me. I'm the one that's always hoisting the trophy. We don't have a trophy. I'm not hoisting anything, but
He's
yeah, I
only
am your.
hoisting his ego.
That too. It's up there. It's up there ways. But couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you. Uh, let's see. I believe we last talked about Joe's team when we talked about Brian's team. Tonight we're going to take a look at a couple of more squads. I think we're going to start with Cody, and then we're going to look at Ryan. But let's hop over to Cody's page here. Um, as we could see, Ryan had Cody 10th. I had him lowest at 11th. Carl also had him at 10th. Fantasy Pros, thank God, I'm vindicated. Fantasy Pros has him at 11th as well. Uh, how are we feeling overall? Well, let me take this one, and you guys feel free to chime in here after a minute. Um, oh, hit the wrong button. 1 second. Okay. Off the top, I do think that there is upside on this team, which kind of pains me for ranking it as low as I have it. Um, but there are some trouble spots. First off, this kind of cuts both ways. You've got three pretty intriguing quarterbacks, which means you have no pretty intriguing quarterbacks. Like Prescott could be good, Stroud could be good, McCarthy could be really good, but you're only able to start one of them. So really, you've either got three wasted roster spots or what? I don't know. It's hard to say. Um, Running back looks pretty solid. Not gonna lie. Uh, hard to find much fault there. I really think Jordan Mason could be like a steal where you have him. I'm pretty sure Aaron Jones is going to fall off the face of the earth here this season. So kudos to you on that one. Wide receiver depth is pretty lacking. Um, Terry McLaurin is good. Adam Thielen is old as dirt, which means DeAndre Hopkins is older than sedimentary rock at this point. I don't know. My geology needs some brushing up. Um, you made the trade to pick up Michael Pittman. I would have left him where he was, honestly. Pittman doesn't do much for me. And that Colts passing offense could be abysmal with either Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. So that might be a whiff. Um, I really like Tucker Kraft, so there's that's cool. On the defensive side, you've only got D tackles, which could be a problem. I mean, I know we've added the D tackle position. You need to start one there. Um, Cansey and Wilkins could both be good options there. Vita Vea probably isn't really worth a roster spot, even adding a D tackle position, but you don't have much of a ceiling for sacks, with just D tackles. So that could be a trouble spot. Um, but from there, yeah, I honestly don't hate this team. There are just a few spots that kind of leave me scratching my head in such a way that I view it to be tougher to overcome. So, uh, what say you guys? Chime in here.
So I think one of the reasons why I have Cody ranked just a little bit higher is I actually genuinely like his running backs. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to be just fine for him. David Montgomery is nothing flashy, but he's always kind of solid. There's a lot to kind of hope for in Scattaboo to see what could happen. I think that's a good young piece on his team, especially in our quasi dynasty format. Agreed, though, his wide receivers are not good at all. So that really does kind of bring him down a lot more. And then not having any defensive line when in our league, a lot of points are coming from those defensive line positions. And second to linebackers, of course, but a lot of defensive points are coming from the defensive line.
Yeah, no doubt about any of that. I definitely noted the lack of defensive ends as opposed to tackles. Um, I do like what he's done with some of the youth things. Scatabo, I'm a fan of. We don't see it up here, but he did draft Luther Burden, who I don't particularly like this year, and I do think he overdrafted, but I like the player. Like I think there's some real potential for that down the road. So he's got a few players that he's brought in this year that I think there's some long-term potential there. I'm just not sure we're going to see a whole lot out of it, yet this year. Um, say just real briefly, I do like his linebacker group. Like he's got a real nice looking group of linebackers, some depth there. That'll be good. And then finally, I will take a real quick peek at the trades that Cody was involved in because he was in 3 trades during the draft. One
3 trades.
Three trades. One Ben already mentioned a little bit was the trade that involved Pittman. He traded Pittman and a 4th round pick. Oh, excuse me. He traded Andrew Van Ginkel for Pittman and a 4th round pick. And the pick turned into Christian Wilkins. So basically, he traded Van Ginkel for Wilkins and Pittman, which I got to call that a win for Cody. Like to me, that's a big win for Cody. Even though I too don't love Pittman, but I think Wilkins for Van Ginkel would have damn near been a straight up trade I'd make.
Wow, that's hot.
It'd be pretty close, especially now that we got a DT. Van Ginkel has been good for precisely 17 weeks of his career. Like, the dude was never rostered. Like, I had him on my roster for like a week the year before last, and then he blew up last year. Prior to that, he was nothing. So, like, I'm not necessarily holding my breath on him doing the same thing this year that he did last year. Wilkins, hell of a good DT. I think he's going to be a real good one. So, he also traded his 16th round pick to Mike for a beer.
Solid
okay with that one.
And I think we need to remember, though, too, that, he did get cut off while we were there at Junkyard. I don't know if either. Oh, yeah, he got cut off. He was going to order one more beer before we go, and the server walks by. He's like, I'll take. And the server's like, nope, and kept walking.
That's awesome. I missed that.
So take that beer for what it's worth, because.
No shit. All right, last thing real fast because I'm clearly way out of time, but the one other trade he was involved in was one with Joe that we touched on during the Joe one. He gave up Waddle for a 16th this year and a 2nd next year. I think that's a win for Cody because he picked up that 2nd next year. I like some of the moves he made long term. I don't really like what his team looks like this year.
That's fair. Yeah, the long term stuff, putting that in context helps. But yeah, this year does look like an uphill battle with some weird depth issues to boot.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, that's Cody off the list. We're going to hop over and take a look at Team Ryan. There it be. Ryan, I had you at 9th. Carl had you at 9th. You had yourself at 8th. Is that accurate? Fantasy
Yes.
Pros also has you at 8th. So, Ryan, we're going to put you on the hot seat. Tell us about your team.
Okay, yeah. So I, was trying to really balance out some of my veteran players with some young players. So a lot of what factored into my rankings is kind of where some of those young players are currently ranked right after our draft. So, a couple of the wide receivers, Egbuka, he's an unknown. We don't know what he's going to be. I think he has some potential, so obviously I drafted him. I do have A.J. Brown, which is going to be a nice piece that I can set and forget for the most part. Pickens, I think he's going to have more good games than not. Ayuk, when he finally gets healthy, I think he can be a little bit better than where he's currently ranked as well. I know Carl will probably bring this up here in a little bit because he's been kind of our trade guy. And I'll be interested to hear what he has to say about the trade that I made with Shane. But I was looking for that youth in the running backs and having somebody that I can kind of build on, kind of getting rid of somebody that's kind of old. And yeah, he could have a great year again after having a shitty year last year, Christian McCaffrey. I'm over that, and I wanted something with youth. So I took the guy that I do believe is going to replace Najee Harris at some point this season. Najee Harris, I think, is going to start the year and is going to do well to begin the year, but Omarion Hampton is going to come in on the scene eventually, and I think going to take over. So I really like that piece on my team. And Derrick Henry, again, will he repeat what he did last year? Probably not to the full extent, but I think he will still be a top 10 running back for my team. So I really like that. With the remaining time that I have, also, I do like my defense. I have a lot of just solid pieces, got some guys that are right there at that within the top 12 of every position group. And, I think there's a lot that I can build on and help use my defense to kind of help project some of my holes in my offense.
Carl, you want to jump in? Pick him apart. Get him.
Well, really the first thing that comes to mind for me is, okay, so Derrick Henry's there. Like, you got one running back just locked in. Your next two running backs are on the same freaking roster. And which means that they're essentially, as far as I'm concerned, that means you've got one number 2 running back, because only one of them is going to be worth a damn at any given time. Who knows which one? And then so that means your number 3 running back becomes Trey Benson. I don't like that. That does not give me warm fuzzy feelings. Now I will say, Ray Davis, if Cook ends up holding out, you're onto something right there. Not where I'd want to place my bet, but it is a thing. Wide receivers, I think quite simply, I'm just not as high on Pickens as you are. But beyond that, I do see what you're doing upside wise with the rookies, and Ayuk, once he comes back, like, he's clear number 1 in that room. I do like portions of your defense. Like, I like your linebackers. I like your defensive tackle. Don't love your defensive line as a whole, but I do like the defensive tackle. Yeah. I will say this is one of those situations where I think you've got 2 quarterbacks, which means you've got no quarterbacks. I don't see a meaningful difference between May and Murray, so I don't know which one a person starts, but whatever. That's just kind of picking a nit. But and I will real quickly touch on your trade. You traded. We'll just call the players in there. It was, a pick in CMC, McCaffrey, for the first round pick. So you got Omarion Hampton, you gave up Christian McCaffrey and Khalil Shakir. Frankly, I like the trade for both sides. I get what you're doing as far as the running backs getting younger. Like, I like that move. I think it's smart. Depending on what Shakir does, I might give the edge on the trade to Shane. But like today, before they play, I think it's a pretty damn good trade for both sides. So, Ben?
Yeah, I think you guys both pretty much hit on everything where I was at. I definitely see the upside, the long-term vision, especially when we talk about like Egbuka and Trey Harris. Like, those 2 guys could both end up being legit starters on their team. It's not going to happen this year, but like, Trey Harris doesn't really even have that high of a mountain to climb to get over like Quentin Johnston and the corpse of Mike Williams to become a starting wide receiver on the Chargers. So, there's obviously a path to playing time. Egbuka, it might be a little bit tougher, with Godwin, Evans, and Jalen McMillan. But again, a really good player, and one of those guys will probably be gone next year, so he's going to get some playing time soon. Um,
Yeah, he
but
slots
yeah,
into at least the top three by next year.
right. But yeah, for now, the biggest thing is just a lot of guys that are in timeshares or clearly need to leapfrog a player or two to get to any meaningful snaps. So the defense, I liked. I really didn't have too many qualms with the defense by and large. So yeah, I see what you're doing, but yeah, for this year, I think we can all agree that it looks maybe a little bit tougher. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
well,
I guess I mean, I have myself one notch ahead of where you guys have me, so I mean, we're pretty much in a good consensus of looking, and and I'm obviously trying to look at my own team objectively and not thinking, oh yeah, I have the best team because it's my team.
Right. I do
kudos,
appreciate that.
kudos. Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
Ben.
Whoa, easy now. All right. Well, I think this is a good spot to stop for now. I think we picked a couple off the heap, and yeah, we kept it pretty short and sweet. So
Yep.
um, we'll wrap this one for now, and we'll catch you guys a little later. See you later.
Have a good one.
See you guys.